Well, I got a special treat for you now on the James Show. For the first time, it's the star of the video for Billy Got His Beer Goggles on. Rob Schneider's on the James Show. Welcome. I mean, I've heard you've done other things besides that. Now, Saturday Night Live legend, film star, and stand-up comedy is your latest foray. But, Rob, you're an interesting person to talk to because of the breadth of your experience. And you are now, I don't want to say you're a political animal, but you've gotten political content out there, and you weren't always political. Did you always have these political underpinnings, or did something bring it out of you?
I didn't know that that half the country would forget which bathroom they're supposed to use. I didn't see that coming either. So we have some people who forgot what women are, and so at a certain point, you got to, you just can't ignore that there's a real attack on the culture, and it's, some of it. I mean, as a comedian, you got to. I think because of the pandemic, the scamdemic that happened, and because of the attack on free speech, I think you don't realize that when they say your freedom requires eternal vigilance, that's what that means. That means you got to, you have to stand up for your culture. And so, believe me, I didn't do it out of any other reason than necessity, because you want to have the same freedoms for your children that we were blessed with, and the greatest, freest experiment in history in the world. And for people who grow up here, whether they don't see it coming, there's an encroachment. And it's, I remember in March of 2020. I was one of the first people, me and Dr. Drew Pinsky, that got, canceled because of how we said, let's not shut down the society over what appears to be flu-like symptoms that are only going to make it the most dangerous for the most vulnerable people. So all this stuff kind of happened, and I think it thrust me into being more political. When they try to attack you, I think that's a natural thing, is to defend yourself. And then when they try to attack your country, I think you'd be an idiot to not defend that. Well, it's been good, and I think America's definitely headed into a very good place. And I think these tariffs that Trump is putting in is going to have a positive effect. I mean, we have to have a manufacturer base. No industrialized country will survive if they don't make stuff. We can't just be a service country, and we got to get healthy. So, Robert Kennedy's a good buddy of mine, and I really, really enjoy what the Trump administration is doing, and we can't just let another 20 million people in. I think Americans realize what was happening to their country, that it was being fundamentally shifted and changed, and I think you'd be a fool to not get involved in politics. And everybody says, why are you going to get involved in politics? Politics is the roads you drive on. It's the food you eat. It's the air you breathe. It's the borders that keep your country safe. And if you're not involved in, quote, politics, then you're going to let a bunch of idiots make those decisions for your life and your children's life.
Your story sounds like a few other people that, are in the news on a regular basis. Elon Musk spent most of his life just assuming he was on Team Blue till he was basically pushed across the aisle. You could say the same thing for like a Joe Rogan or a Russell Brand or a Ricky Gervais.
The fact that the Democrats, not only they disagree with you, they try to murder you. He has literally 17 full-time bodyguards, and he needs them all. I told him, I said, I think you should double that up. That's how crazy these so-called the tolerant left is. That's why I was a liberal for most of my life, a Democrat. Now I have nothing to relate to these people. They are violent lunatics. I love the people going around scratching Teslas. It's like, what? 95% of Teslas are owned by liberals and other Democrats. So it's like you have Democrats that are,
Love it. Yeah.
That are Democrats that are vandalizing other Democrats. It's like, how dare you, scratch, 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 agree with me? How dare you? So it's really abject stupidity. And today I was looking at the polls. They're down to 24% approval rating over in the United States. 24%, the Democrats. So they want to keep violent criminals in the United States. Nobody wants that, not even Democrats.
So you sort of had glimpses of this years ago. I was looking through and doing some research, trying to find out something about you that the people listening don't already know. And I read on your Wikipedia page that you got dropped from State Farm for anti-vaccination views, but that was back in 2014, long before the pandemic, long before RFK was a thing. So it seemed like you didn't change. You've always been this guy.
Well, thank you. Well, what happened was a bunch of, several parents came to me in California and said, we have an autistic child. And, when anybody tries to paint like, people on the spectrum, and God bless you if you have a kid who's on the spectrum and he's highly functional, God bless you. However, there are people who have many hundreds of thousands of people in this country. And you got to understand now that the rates of autism is 1 out of every 31 children. And in California, it's 1 out of every 12.5 boys. And these are some of these kids, not a minimum amount, but a lot of these kids are not highly functional. They bang their heads against the wall to relieve the pain that they're in. And they literally, I've seen kids in diapers at 19 years old. And so, you can't unsee it. And the pharmaceutical companies went from 3 shots when I was a kid to now 52 shots of 16 different vaccines, 52 doses of them before the age of 6. So I'm sorry if people say there's no coincidence. It's not just anecdotal. It's not just, correlation. No, it is this. And so we have to admit this. If we're not going to care about the most vulnerable, the most precious, the most important members of our society, our future, our children, and we're just going to ignore this fact that this epidemic that's affecting our kids, then we're not a society that cares about anything. So, if it costs me my career in show business, I don't give an shit. I'm going to, stand up and speak for these kids and we got to get this country healthy. I just got to tell you, we have 77% of young men, Army-age men, that can't qualify for the physical regimen, the physical requirements to join the Army. So we're down to 23%. We have 43% of our nation, 43% of our adults are obese. Obese, meaning their body fat is obvious at this point. And we got, we have rheumatoid arthritis with children, childhood diabetes. We have about 1 out of 3 kids that's very, very heavy, bordering on obese. If we don't get a handle on this, nothing else matters, because we won't have a country that'll afford to have schools, that'll afford to be able to take care of all the roads, because we're heading towards a financial cliff, and that's directly proportional to our health. We don't get a handle on that, James. We don't get a handle on anything. So, yes, it's time for people to stand up and get involved. And I just helped pass legislation in Arizona this week to get rid of these toxic poison dyes and poison chemicals in our lunch programs at schools. So we're going to do that. And then Robert Kennedy and I are going to figure out a way to get phones out of schools. And this is our time. We have to get America healthy. We have to get these kids to stop with the phones, and that's just the beginning of it. We have to get healthy lunches in the lunch programs. So whatever, God has graced us to have somebody like Robert Kennedy who's going to make a change, and he sacrificed so much to be in this the Trump administration, and we got a chance to make America healthy again. And I don't care if that costs me jobs or in Hollywood. I don't care about what the pharmaceutical industry says. The pharmaceutical industry has the biggest lobbyists of anybody. They have more than the military-industrial complex. They have 2,000 lobbyists that lobby congressmen and senators every day for their drugs. Forget about the Mexican drug cartel, James. The pharma drug cartel, that's the real drug cartel. Mexican cartels will make 10 to 15 billion a year, but the pharmaceutical companies, $750 billion a year.
All right, Rob,
for this one class of drugs.
We continue with comedy legend Rob Schneider, who first came on my radar on Saturday Night Live in the early 90s. What were you doing before that? How did you get to Saturday Night Live, Rob?
Well, basically, they get people who are very desperate, who are not really in show business yet. So they get young people on who are, truthfully, just on the verge. But they get really funny people. They get the funniest people to be on that show. And And then, I was a stand-up. And then all of a sudden, you get on that show, the next thing you're famous. So it's an incredible platform. And they're still doing really good work. I mean, there was some really funny stuff on last week. And so, I think during the woke era, I think like any institution, they were susceptible to getting in their own political echo chamber and their own little bubble. But I think they've come out of that well, and they got some really funny, nice people over there. I was just there a month ago for the 50th anniversary, and I'm proud to have been a part of that show. And I wish them to run for another 50 years.
Yeah, and I think they're coming off the wokeism a little bit. Like a couple weeks ago when Jack Black was the host, they did a whole skit making fun of people who virtue signal, which I don't think they would have done 5-6 years ago.
I know. I remember when they had Hillary Clinton, impersonator, just singing a song.
Leonard Cohen. After they lost in 2016. Yeah. That's hilarious.
I said, please have Will Ferrell jump out of the piano at the end and drag or something. But they didn't. And so I think, look, any institution, and Saturday Night Live is an institution, it's susceptible. Everyone's potentially susceptible to be trapped in their own political echo chamber. I'm no exception. Saturday Night Live's no exception. I'm just glad that they're out of it and that they're doing stuff that reflects on the culture. If something seems a little out of whack, that's what we could do as comedians. We could present it to you and say, should we ridicule this? And if they laugh at it, then yes, then it is worthy of ridicule. The problem was, the real collusion wasn't with Trump and Russia. It was with the Biden administration and Facebook and Twitter and Google search engines, and that's been proven because the Twitter files that came out with Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger. So that really showed that was the government can collude and can censor people, and that's something that. What the elites trying to shut down the world and big pharma, they didn't count on one thing, James: podcasts and comedians on podcasts. And so we were able to podcast exploded, and thank God for Joe Rogan. And we had great people, Tucker Carlson, for him, and then Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Theo Von, and you had comedians, Jim Brewer, myself. We're traveling around. And then, so it was a whole new. People realized that finally that the legendary, the publications, New York Times, Washington Post, were all crap. CNN was lying to them. Our government was lying to us, and so it's really been great to wake up people, and they and looking for alternative media. Now the media is us.
Well, Rob Schneider, on Fridays at 4:35, we play a game show called Name That Artist. Now, I'm not going to ask you to play, but I would like you to listen to the montage, and after the players make their guess, see if you can fill in some of the gaps that they missed.
Okay.
But I've got to do the giveaway here. We're giving away tickets to the Titanic experience, which is a cool little exhibit happening here in town just for a limited...
Just saw it.
Oh, you did? Did you go to it? Did you go to this?
No, I saw the Titanic's, these incredible artifacts from the Titanic. It's incredible. It makes you realize, man, they did not have enough lifeboats. That's how I walked out of there going, I want to make sure there's enough lifeboats on anything I'm always on.
All right.
Anyway, but go ahead. Let's do it. All
right. So here's the montage here. And if you want to get tickets to the Titanic experience, you can go ahead and call in 800-288-9227. But if you know all 10 of these songs...
The marching band came down along Main Street. The soldier blues fell in behind. It was a Monday, a day like any other day. I left a small town for the apple in decay. I was justified when I was 5. Raising Cain, I spit in your eyes. Baby, please go away. Feel so lost.
Bruce is trying to kill us with this one. This is for 2 tickets to see the Titanic Experience. It's in Addison for a limited time. But before we get to our contestants here, I haven't even mentioned Rob's events coming up. He's going to be in the area with a lot of shows, not just 1 or 2 here. So the first one that's kind of in our area, and I will count this because there's people who are listening east of us. Shreveport. He's going to be in Shreveport May 2nd. Then he's going to circle all around the place, Lubbock, Amarillo, El Paso, Midland. He'll be back in town. He'll be in Waco May 30th, Fort Worth May 31st, and then back here in Dallas at the Granada June 1st. With that, let's play a little bit of Name That Artist. We'll start with Tony and Denton. You're first up on Name That Artist. You ready, Tony?
Yeah, but I'm going to do poorly.
You're going to do poorly. That's fine. All you got to do is do better than the next guy. Let's go. Ready? Name that artist. Go.
Okay. Let's see. About 3 down is...
What? You're not even trying for the first 2?
No, I have no shot.
Dude, don't worry. I didn't know the first one. I knew the second one. Hang on. Let's see if someone can at least get the first one. Ann and Alan, are you ready?
I think so.
Let's hear your list, Ann.
Okay. Mitch Murray, Foreigner.
Whoa, no, not Mitch Murray, but okay, but Foreigner's right. Elton John was right. Keep going.
Eric Carmen.
Wow, I missed that one. Okay, go ahead.
Elvin Bishop.
Yep.
Broderick Johnson.
No, but close. Next.
Okay. Gary Wright.
Yep.
Manfred Mann.
Yep.
Todd Rundgren.
Wow, I missed that one too. And?
Captain Tennille.
All right, that's pretty impressive. Let's see if we can get a steal from Eric and Mesquite. Eric and Mesquite, did you know the ones that she didn't know?
She got Foreigner,
Yeah.
Elton John, Eric Carmen, Elvin Bishop, Gary Wright, Manfred Mann, Todd Rundgren, Captain Tennille.
Yeah, so I think that goes to Ann then. I think Ann looks like she's our biggest winner. Ann, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. My husband is the one that knows it all, not me.
Well, then I feel like a fraud here. You should have put him on the phone, Ann.
Oh, he's hoarse. He can't talk. He can't talk very good.
That's a likely excuse. Either way, you're going to get 2 tickets to Titanic, the exhibition.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, I didn't put the exhibition together. It's at Addison's Pepper Square. You get to go and take some pictures on that staircase that's at the end of the movie. Take a selfie of that and send it to me when you're done, okay? Maybe I'll put it on Facebook or something.
Oh, I will. Okay.
Well, all right. Thank you very much, Ann. Now, for the rest of you, you got to get your own tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Thetitanicexhibition.com. So with that, Rob, did you know the 2 that no one else guessed?
Yeah, Adam Ant and Dave Clark 5.
All right. No, Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods was one of the missed ones. The other one, the Climax Blues Band. I don't even know that band. I didn't know about it until today. All right, Rob Schneider. I asked people,
yes, sir,
who are in the polymaths out there who do different things, what their favorite is, and whether it's music, movies, plays, or stand-up. Everyone says stand-up. Do you fit that pattern? Is stand-up your favorite venue?
Well, I mean, for me to do, right now I love it because it's so liberating because, you're not going to see conservative point of view on television, except the biggest show is Gutfeld, the late-night show. But all the other late-night shows, it's all, it's all regurgitating the same crap, Like you can take whatever Jimmy Fallon says and shove it in the mouth of Jimmy Kimmel, and then whatever is dribbling out of his mouth, you can put in Stephen Colbert. It doesn't matter. So it's nice when people come see me. They get to hear a different point of view, which is great. And the greats, like whether it's Chris Rock, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, those guys are traditional liberals, but they also comment on the same stuff that's the same attack on our culture that I am. But stand-up comedy's taken over rock and roll, in my opinion. It is it's more popular than ever. And it's because I think people want to hear what's happening in their culture and see if they think it's just as crazy as what they're experiencing.
Right.
That's been awesome, and that's been a lot of fun.
And I think that's a great comparison, comparing it to rock and roll or live music. Because when you go to see live music rather than listening to it on your phone or on a CD or whatever records you got, there's sort of like a dopamine hit that you get from the experience. Now, comedy does the same thing. It's just a little more cerebral. Now, Rob Schneider, something I learned about you way late after the fact is that your daughter's Elle King. And I didn't know this until well after she was already famous and decorated and won some awards. And I saw some posts, and I didn't even believe it for like a year after someone told me that y'all were related. And then finally one day I had to look it up. And what's that like? To have a kid that successful? Your heart must be bursting as a father.
Well, she's such a talent, and I'm really proud of her. And it's tough to be, a kid trying to make it in entertainment with your dad's already, famous. You want to carve out your own journey. When you're a kid, you got to, you're trying to figure out who's your real friends, or so she's done it, and she's great, and she's a real talent. And I look forward to. She's got pop music coming out. She's got more country music coming out. So I'm really proud of her. And I know how tough show business is. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but if you love it and you want to express yourself, and if you have a talent in music or the arts, you got to do it.
Right, and she didn't play the name card at all. I saw her 2 years ago in 2023 with Chris Stapleton, and she came out and she would play guitar one song, she'd play banjo another song, and then maybe one song here I'll play the mandolin. So she's not just some girl who decided I want to sing and be famous. She's musician with chops. So my kids are starting to get into music and stuff, and the better they get, it makes my heart explode. So I figure you're in the same boat on that.
Yeah, music. Music is emotional math, and there's people. I remember when I said the killer Jerry Lee Lewis. He couldn't even speak, couldn't communicate very. But as soon as the piano came out, the great balls of fire, because it's a different place in the brain, and it really does something that everybody has the song that you love that brings you back to a certain time. So music's powerful. Like every comedian wishes they had the same power that a musician has, and I know every musician wants to be a comedian or an actor, but only the Beatles and stuff like that, or Michael Jackson, or get that kind of people that they remember forever. So music has a power.
All right, Rob Schneider, I'm going to play the audience a clip of you from America Fest just a few months ago. I love this little line of jokes. And
if President Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state, one stipulation, at least one of the senators has to be a moose. Well, thanks to the Democrats, we may not know what women are, but at least we now know what women are not. Qualified to be in charge of the Secret Service. I've seen more competent female Ghostbusters, frankly.
All right. Now that's offensive and it's not politically correct, but I think you can get away with that because it's funny.
It's a joke, and people get upset for jokes. And the thing about canceling people is, instead of going out of your way to cancel them, you just do this other thing that used to happen decades ago. It's just, hey, how about not listening to it, or listen to something else? Turn it down, switch the channel, whatever. Instead of going out of your way to And so I instead of giving into the cancel culture, I went directly into it. And everybody knows that the Secret Service screwed that up, and it shouldn't be run by some dumb woman whose last job, the Biden administration, which was a complete, utter joke. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's get the best people for their job. I don't care who you sleep with or what your genitalia is. I want the best person. And the person who was the head of the Secret Service, her last job was the head of security at Pepsi. No, that ain't doing it,
Yeah, no one's trying to assassinate a Mountain Dew. Listen, we're about out of time.
That's what I said. I said the Secret Service, they could stop anything except a slightly sloped roof.
There you go. All right, Rob Schneider, he's going to be in Shreveport May 2nd, circle back around Waco May 30th, Fort Worth May 31st, Dallas June 1st. I wish I had more time with you, but I appreciate you sticking around for a whole hour. Super cool. Thank you, Rob Schneider.
No, thank you for having me. It's a fun show. You guys have come out. It's not going to be just politics. I'll talk mostly about how my wife hates me. So we'll do that. And,
That's fantastic.
It's fun.
I think a lot of us can relate to that.
And go to robschneider.com and check the dates, and then we'll see you there soon. Thanks, James, for having me.
I will definitely be at the Dallas one, Rob. I appreciate that so much. All right, thank you very much. That's going to do it for the James Show. Stick around. Coming up next, the great one, Mark Levin. In the meantime, if you need more James Show action in your life, go check out the podcast. It's at WBAP.com, WBAP app, or whatever app you're already using to listen to podcasts. And also, you can check out the video feeds on our social media. Like it, love it, live it, share it out. I got kids. I want them to go to college. Help a brother out. I'm James Parker. Go have a good weekend. This has been The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.